I was a bodyguard 15. On retirement day, the boss only gave me 700,000 Vite names. Pension currency. I'm holding 2 fragile banknotes. The extreme cold would exchange for my life. It's a little money for this beggar. I didn't say a word, turned away, but when I walked to the door by the light, I just found out it's not normal paper money at all. It's a special piece of paper with a 15-digit bank key. Do you know how we've lived in the last 15 years? Not more than 3,600 days. I am like a shadow stuck behind the ceiling. My mission is only one: keep him alive. So we've had a million car crashes. He even drank a glass of poison for him. The first time was on the highway, outside a dirt car. The driver's eyes rushed like crazy. I hit the steering wheel hard, used a hard half of the car body to support the touch. The broken glass cut a line in my face. Blood filling my face. The fourth time was at a dinner party, a rival company's killer posing as a waiter. The cold knife was only an inch from his heart. Used my hands unblocked, standing there gripping that sharp blade. The 7th time he's been kidnapped by a business rival. I single-handedly stormed the abandoned factory. At the last second when the bomb disposal went down, I hit the pole, intuitively cut the wires. I saved him 10 times. Every time he beats his own lie. Today is the day I retire. Legs sitting on the sofa. It's worth millions of yuan. Face without emotion. Large office on the top floor. It was so quiet you could hear the wind blowing. The silence of the air conditioner. The center in the air is filled with the smell of cigars. He likes it the most. It's so pungent. Under the pressure of the superior. His extremely well-preserved fingers flip 2 red banknotes. Take it to me. Light movements. It's like giving alms to a dog wagging its tail, begging for food. Of course over the years, it's hard. This is your pension. Take it and go. His voice was not warm, as a 15 and born to death between knees. It's just a normal boss relationship. Couldn't be more normal. My heart tightened, and was immediately enveloped, covered by the bone-chilling cold 700,000 Vite names Dom. My eyes fell on those 2 red banknotes. This is the final value. In exchange for 15 loyalty, and 10 sales of my life. Sam Tran House standing next to the sofa. The only useless son of Chen Chen. On the hanging face, full of sarcasm and undisguised pleasure. He's wearing a finely cut Fiji suit, hair flowing glossy. Looking at me with eyes like a pile of itchy-eyed trash. Dad, what are you talking shit about? Chen laughed contemptuously for an hour. Shu Chu's voice was harsh. It's just a 15-year-old dog. 700,000 is a very kind thing. He came to my face. Lower the voice of malice where the corners of the mouth almost erupt. A dog should have the appearance of a dog. Take the money and get out. Don't be here to prick my eyes. The last ray of warmth in my eyes completely died out. My heart is filled with heavy lead. I can't breathe. I didn't look at Chen Hao, eyes still fixed on the face, without the ripples of Chen Chen, trying to find a familiar emotion from there, even if it's just a little bit too much. There's nothing. There's just a deep chill you can't see. I reached out my finger and touched those 2 bills, very thin, very light as a laugh. I squeezed my fingers white, for using too much power. I didn't say anything. Every word in this moment is bland. Helplessly I turned to walk towards the giant red wood door. Every sip is like stepping on a broken ground. It makes a scraping sound. That's the sound of my heart breaking 15 young hearts. 15 selling networks turns out to be just a joke. Chen Hao's laughter still echoed behind him, like a blunt knife. Go back and forth into my self-respect. I don't look back. I walked out of the office, and I suffocated. It's an endless hallway. The light coming in from the side window pulled my shadow out so long. Very lonely, until I walked out of the commercial building. This steady, Chang's scorching sun suddenly flashed on my face. I instinctively raised my hand to cover. Light through the fingers. He's holding my money. I suddenly felt something was wrong. Is this paper too special? Better than regular paper money. The surface also seems to have a very small pattern. I held it up in front of my eyes and borrowed the sun's rays. Under the red text of the note, again using Envino technology, in a very small line of English letters and numbers. It's a complex sequence that causes people to open their eyes. In the corner of the bill, it's a sign that I'm very familiar with that strikes me in the eye. That's the shield symbol and the cross key. Sign, exclusive rights of the bank's senior customers, the Swiss royal family. My whole body died on the spot. An explosion in my head. This is not an insult. This is not 700,000 to chase beggars. This is a bank key. A key to an unknown asset. Or rather lead to another mystery. The cold in my heart winked with wonder. Extreme and suspicious or replace hung ceiling. What do you want to do? I immediately left that building. I can't stand at the door too long. There's a lot of people here. I barricaded myself into a deserted alley behind me, against the cold wall. Try to calm down. Your heart rate is racing. In the alley smelling of mold and trash mixed in. But this smell makes me feel safe. I opened 2 special Kia Rabbi notes. Under the sun, the words in Vivo are clearly visible. Outside the Kia complex key sequence, in the open area, on the banknote hidden by a special photosensitive ink, there's a bank logo and an address, just under a certain angle of light. That sign just appeared. I took a deep breath. In my mind comes a story from 3 years ago. Chen Chen Hung is in the library, used to excitedly pull out an old piece of paper. He taught me how to recognize secrets. Hidden in every paper church. He said Chen studied you, remember. The things that are really important are never revealed. Go outside at that time. I just think it's the shark's fleeting hobby. This business, now think about it, it's actually a deliberate lesson. He soon began to compose the cold humiliation. It's all camouflage. This is the beginning of a puzzle. It's also a test. Challenge the ability to observe. To test my calmness. even challenged to watch me in the 7 hopes and humiliations. I wonder if I can keep my head cold. If I was angry at the time, it was a shame to throw 700,000 in his face or tear it apart. When this secret will forever be forgotten. My back is cold. So deep in my heart, I carefully folded the note. Put it in your pocket, then quickly leave the alley. Taxi to the Thai residential area, in the west of the city. I read the address. Get in the back seat and close your eyes. But the mind is still working at full capacity. Why do we use this way? What did he finally want to send? It's just money. I don't believe in his wealth. If you want, give me a nice retirement. It only takes one review. There's no need to spend so much effort. There is definitely another love behind this. The car stopped in front of the old neighborhood gate. I paid for my car and walked into a shabby apartment building. This is my house. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. Everything in the room is arranged in 1,000 lids. Carry the dignified movement needed by the military. There's no excess decorations. It's all there, emphasizing pragmatism. I'm not late. Pulled out from under the bed a travel bag. Black parachute fabric. Open up inside is my whole outfit. Some dark casual clothes to change. It's an encrypted brick phone. A general-purpose military dagger, and a small first aid bag. I put in that special note into a waterproof compartment. Then the glue locks the whole process. Less than 5 minutes. Neat and definitive. This is a habit I developed in my 15 years as a bodyguard. Always ready to deal with any unexpected situation. Put your backpack on. I look back at where I've lived for the last few years. This place used to hold my dreams about a peaceful retirement life. But now look out. Peace is still too far away for me. I locked the door for a long time and joined the flow again, according to the address hidden on that paper. I took a bus to the financial district. It's a Swiss bank. Private property management center. It's located in the city. It's a very secret address. No eye-catching signs. Just in one corner of the office building. There's a sign. It doesn't attract attention. I walked into the building. My keen intuition shows me something unusual. In the air, there seems to be an ambience of vague tension. I'm not going straight upstairs, but sit down in the waiting area in the hall, pretending to be waiting for my gaze to flash through the elevator door. The eyes in black, an unsympathetic face standing guard there. They look like statues of gods. I realized they were Chen Hao's bodyguards. My heart's down. Chen also knows this place. He was one step ahead of me. It's getting complicated. I'm sitting in a corner of the hall to pick up an old financial newspaper, cover more than half of the face. But my attention back to the elevator door. Why does he know this place is a dead end? Tell him why. It's impossible with the level of 7 hopes of Chen Sheng hero for him. He absolutely won't reveal it. This is important for him. Then Chen Hao investigated Ra himself, or can say he is always quietly monitoring the most. My father's moves. This ability is huge. This useless guy has no business mind, but for the scrambling for property, his heart is more cruel than anyone else. Not long after the elevator doors open, their feet are not angry, coming out from the inside, followed by a bank manager with an awkward face. Manager King, I'll tell you again. My father is mentally unstable to talk about. Chen Hao's voice echoed extremely brightly. In the hall, all property in his name. Everything must be locked down immediately. If there's no problem, can your bank shoulder this responsibility? He had a document in his hand, tried to dance in front of the manager. This is a certificate issued by an elite hospital. It's clearly written on it. The hammer disease. In the first stage, you want to deny the Sao. The manager is a middle-aged man, over 40 years old, wearing gold plus glasses. To face the scream of Chen Hao, he just couldn't stop bending over. Your tone is steady, Mr. Chen. We understand your mood very well. But according to the rules, the freezing of Mr. Chen's account, it has to be him, or have a power of attorney signed by his hand. You can make this certificate. We need to verify with the bank. Please identify the monkey. Chen Hao violently interrupted him. Salatha shot the king in the face. I am his rightful heir. I can't even remember who I am now. How can I sign for you? You just want the words. You want to spend his money now. I'm hiding behind the newspaper, looking at this play coldly. From their conversation, I've confirmed at least 2 things. The first, the real ceiling has a huge amount of wealth deposited at this bank. Monday, Chen Chen's health can be really problematic. I'm a waist disease. My heart is pounding again. Right now, Chen Hao's ferocious gaze swept across the hall. I can see the person in the corner. He kept a little, and then there was a grin. Here he is, the royal curator, coming straight at me. His guards also immediately followed him, surround me in the middle. Who did I think it was? This is not my most loyal dog. Cao Tran, half standing from above, looked down at me with contempt and in his eyes as if he wanted to become an entity. Why hold 700,000 fight names pension coins? You haven't seen enough. I want to come here to try my luck. He came close and lowered his voice. He was only 2 volumes. We heard him say, I warn you. What shouldn't be touched, don't move. If not, I wouldn't mind letting you disappear from this world. In his words filled with blatant threats, I slowly put down the newspaper. He raised his head to catch his eyes. I didn't say anything. I didn't even have any expression. My eyes are calm like a deep lake, not seen the bottom, not a little way, but it's eyes like that. It makes Chen feel beats incomprehensibly fast. It was as if he had been hidden by a wild animal, staring at. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. He took a half step back instinctively, strung outside in the weak, screaming, what do you look at? I still don't move or say anything. Sometimes, silence is a more powerful weapon than any words. The whole body feels uncomfortable. He feels like the last clown. And with him a curse. Then he led his men backward. Watch their backs disappear at the door, stirring my mouth up a barely perceptible curve. Tran, how you actively jump out the opposite helped me confirm my next guess. It's my turn. I waited about 10 minutes. It was determined that Chen's men had completely left. There will be no eyes left here. I just gotta change your clothes a little and go to the front desk. Manager Wang Nam earlier has returned to his working position. On the face, there is still an undissolved Korean. See me coming. He put on an industrial smile. Sir, what can I do for you? I didn't say any more redundant words. From the pocket of the killer, I took out that special piece of paper. Lay flat down the marble countertop. Manager Wang Nam's eyes fell on the paper, initially suspicious. Right after that, when he saw the Vamo technique on it. With the special character Kia, he's no longer bossy. His face changed immediately, industrial smile and stiff face. Instead it is that the utmost awe and dignity. He raised his head, look at me, in eyes full of lightning and unbelievable looks. Please follow me. His voice was even a little shaky. He immediately in person led me through a security door, need multiple layers of authentication, to an elegantly decorated VIP room. Please wait a moment. Manager Wang Nam bowed respectfully to me. Then he took the paper and hurried into the room. I could hear him coming from inside. He was English, in German, talking on the phone and getting tense with that guy. About 5 minutes later, Manager Wang Nam stepped out on his forehead. It's even covered in sweat. His attitude towards me, from the previous reverence, turned into almost a terror. Sir, the identity has been confirmed. Tran Tram Hung Nam an hour ago. I've just updated my top access for you. He gave me an electronic sign. Please enter the last 6 digits of your bank key here and we'll do iris scans. I followed his instructions. When the system sounds a successful authentication tone, Manager Wang Nam breathed a sigh of relief. He led me to the innermost wall of the room. The wall slowly separated. It's a giant safe. Like court shiny metal. Manager Wang Nam, using my powers and my code. Let's open this heavy door together. I unconsciously held my breath. What will be inside? Is cash as high as a mountain, or the buffalo quote the value of the city? But when I looked inside the safe, I beat the people inside against the fire. There's nothing like what I imagine. It's just an old military compass, with abraded edges. The same one. An old phone is worth putting in a museum. It's just these 2 things. A feeling of sad and hopes I can't help but rise from the bottom of my heart. I thought at least there will be some money, enough that I wouldn't have to worry for the next half of my life. But very quickly I was able to hold these 7 expectations down. That's not true. The challenge continues. The face of Chen Chen Hung will not be so simple. I'm holding those 2 things on a very heavy compass. A brass casing that's etched in the traces of time. The phone. The brick is very light. On the screen still past the protective sticker when it is shipped. The battery is full. I am looking at these 2 things. Suddenly the line rang. That brick phone is ringing. Without warning, the bell, multicolored ears echoed in the VIP room. This quiet sounds extremely sudden. I looked at the strange number on the screen. Then pressed the key from the phone to. It's an electronically processed voice. I don't know who. A cold voice with no emotion. He just said a series of numbers. Latitude north 31 longitude east 121.48. The phone is immediately disconnected. The screeching echoed through the room. I hold the phone and look at the compass in my hand. To fall into the mindset of a court, this is the real trap. I left the bank. The manager escorted me to the elevator door. Humility to the extreme. But he didn't ask. He is very clear about his role. What not to ask. Not a word can be added. Out of the office building I immediately called a car. I'm in the car. I open the phone map. Enter the previous coordinates. Display position. The market on the map is just outside him west of the city. It's a place called Lone Village. The map information notes that this village was completely abandoned 15 years ago. It must be a ruin by now. A deserted village. What did the police officer tell me to do there? That place must be a ruin by now. A deserted village. What did the police officer tell me to do there? The car's on the road leading out. I look like I'm closing my eyes. It's actually through the rearview mirror. Look closely at the cars behind you. A Honda in black core. Since I left the office building. Follow not far not near. The license plate is normal. But I asked him to be Chen Hao's man. He still doesn't mind sending someone to follow me. What a fool who can't stay calm. I don't want conflict with them. Before the location is revealed, I got off early in a busy business district. Then I'm like a normal tourist. Going into a large shopping mall crowded with people, the Honda Echo Kia stopped on the side of the road. Shoemen in jackets stepped down. Also follow in. I walked into a clothing store pretending to shop. Through the mirror, I can see those 2 guys splitting up. They looked for me in the mall. Their movements are very amateur. A false eye is not professional. The corner of my mouth cracked a cold smile. It's easier to cut off your tail than breathe. I take advantage of the structure, complexity of the mall, through the emergency exit leaving from another exit, then quickly switch to the subway. After constantly changing bell lines in the subway, I was convinced that I had completely cut off my tail, the follower. Then I called another car to go to the village of Lone. This shock-terrain car on a convex dirt road. The scene outside the window was becoming more and more desolate. Finally the car stopped in front of a pile of rubble. The driver looked at me with strange eyes. After receiving the money, drive away. I stood at the village gate in the heavy air, the smell of rotten plants between, and the smell of dirt. The whole village is dead. Only the wind screeching, blowing through the crumbling roofs, emit the buzzing noise. I held it and smelled the dust, and the whole village was dumbfounded. Only the wind blows through the dilapidated roofs. Emit the buzzing noise. I took Rakim's military compass. The compass trembled slightly. and point directly north of the village. I clenched my compass into the rubble. Beneath my feet are crumbling rocks and withering weeds. The houses on both sides have largely collapsed. Only the walls are left. We followed the compass's instructions through the village to the deepest place. Here I see an architectural structure, completely out of touch with their surroundings. It's an old house that's been rebuilt, red brick. Wooden windows are cleaned without a grain of dust. The door was unlocked and I pushed the door in. There is no eye in the house, but also what I found was very clean. It's clear that there are periodic cleaners. I walked across the courtyard into the main house. The layout in the house is very simple but has a taste. I looked at each room one by one. We finally stopped at the library. On the desk in the library, there's a stack of thick manuscripts. Next to the script, over a yellowed black and white photo. In the picture are two young men in hot air. One of them was Chen Chen, the young hero. The man had a resolute face. Shining eyes are wearing the shoulders of Chen Tram hero. Smile extremely radiant. I'm holding the manuscript upside down on the untiled cover. There's only 3 big, hardcore letters full of effort. I sat down in front of the table. Flip over the manuscript read. The handwriting is that of the strong and strong Tran Tram. Every stroke, each one exudes an undoubted power. This is not an autobiography. This is a very long letter. Open a letter with a name. The main. It is the one who wears the hero Chen Chen. In the photo, my heart starts to beat faster. I realized that I was touching a secret. It's been buried for 15 years. Content of the manuscript. It started when the two of them knew each other. Teenage years. They grew up together in the mountains. Come out of the village together. Come to this beautiful city to start a business. They used to sleep under the bridge and eat old dumplings. We were also together in the early stages of our startup. Faced countless times, defeat and betrayal. Chen Chen hero in charge of business thinking and the country's own technical and enforcement. They are the best brothers. He is also the best partner. Their company. It's the forerunner of today's trade regime. The night before the company went public, the darkest moment has arrived. Their competitors. A man named Li Wanshan. It's also the Refox mentioned in the manuscript. He used all the cowardly tricks. It's a carefully planned accident. It happened at their feast. The fire is burning. Steel platform collapsed. The national front. In the most dangerous moment. I used my body to cover Chen Chen. And he himself was hit by the lightning. Tran Kwok is dead. Tran Tram hero survived. Read this, my hands started to shiver slightly. I finally understand. In the depths of my heart, as always carried the sorrow and heavy nostalgia. Come on. The second part of the book reveals the truth. Chen Chen has spent his whole life 10 building jobs for commercial fabrication. Do something else. He secretly set up a fund using the money. Use the first amount that he and the Chinese have earned together. This fund is not for profit. For a single purpose. It's for people like the Chinese. Because of the beautiful gesture. For the sake of justice. As well as their families. During the last 15 years, he's anonymous. Has helped countless broken families. And the old house. This is one of the points. Secret communications of the fund. The last few pages of the book. The handwriting began to become monthly. It seems that the person who wrote these lines is exhausted. Line Tran. Tram Hun, you know you don't have much time. His illness caused his memory and strength to fail quickly. Mr. Chen Hao's son is a big kid. Just enjoy and waste. Completely unbearable. Important responsibility will only completely destroy this cause of conscience and your mortal enemy. The old fox Li Wanshan. It's like a poisonous snake. Still quietly groping his empire. Waiting for the moment he fall. You don't trust anyone, except for the shadow that had protected him for 15 years. You have saved these 10 lives. Of course, I used 15 to observe and test my niece. Still loyal. There are principles that are more important. You're the only one we can choose. This fund has been my whole life, and my whole life. It is the meaning of my life. I gave it to you, with that Swiss bank account. It's a guarantee for the future of the fund. When you are here, it means you've overcome all my challenges. But this is just the beginning. The people of Li Wanshan must have come. He won't let me deliver. Everything comes out so easily. Survive, deliver out. Survive to take over my position. This is my final challenge for you. The last word in the script is very strong. It almost tore the paper. There's so much emotion in my heart. Heavy touch. And a burning sense of responsibility. Right then, outside the door turned to an extremely low noise, like the sound of a shoe sole on a fallen leaf. And then there's strong footsteps, but deliberately repressed. A stream of air as cold as a visible tide. In the blink of an eye covered the old house. It's a gas that only those who have passed through birth boundary countless times to be able to catch it. I didn't hesitate. Your body's instincts are faster than your brain's thoughts. I rolled around from my desk. At the same time, the desk lamp fell to the ground. Wife's light bulb melts out a crisp cry. I'm on Delau towards the overpass on the next wall. The whole house immediately fell into darkness. Hands cannot be fingers. At about the same time, the window was broken. The black shadows rush in like lightning. Their movements are very professional. Brown, one sound of action filled with the understanding of intelligence. These guys, and the thugs that Chen Hao came to. They're creatures of 2 different worlds. They're professional assassins. In the dark, I can hear the breath. They're repressions and ghosts. Light comes out of the hand. Tactical terminology. They spread out and form a web of fins. Is slowly closing in on my position. I've formed a fin grid. Is slowly closing in on my position. I lean against the cold bookshelf. Adjust your breathing to the lightest level. My hands became my only eyes. The sound of footsteps stopped 3 meters ahead of me on my left. He seems to be distinguishing my position. This is the moment I grabbed a thick hardcover book. The next column threw its full force in that direction. Wing tearing book. Draw a life curve in the dark. Forcing a sound to ring, followed by the sound of his body falling to the ground. He's over there. A low-pitched growl. Some strong light from a flashlight, rushing towards my position in the blink of an eye, but I'm not in the same place anymore. The moment the book leaves the hand, it rolled on the ground like a wildcat, moving noiselessly to the other side of the room. The enemy's reaction was extremely fast, immediately adjust the direction of attack. In the dark, I saw a cold ray coming towards me. It's my military dagger, but the man who dodged escaped went in and took the chair, swinging hard banging. The chair he held up by his wife was shattered. But the vast enormous impact also stopped him. I grabbed this loophole. The evil one kills, a sharp blow to the back of his neck. Another man fell, but the attack, someone else's, has arrived. I felt a sharp pain in the side of a kick. My whole body banged against the wall. My throat is filled with sweet blood. I was injured, but I don't have time to feel the pain. The survival instinct makes me unleash greater power, borrowing counterforce from the wall. My body bounced back like an XO oven, heading straight into the opponent's chest. My elbow is thrust into the wire. His man groaned in pain for an hour. Then softly fall down. Indoor combat gig. Melee combat. This is my prison job. In absolute darkness, the environment is my best weapon. I breathed passionately, listening to the movements in the room. There are still 2 names. They've become more cautious, no longer arbitrarily close. Just use a flashlight to scan back and forth, trying to locate me. It can't take any longer. I found the power cord of the desk lamp I'd do. Now before. Use strong tugging power. Plugs still stick on the wall. I grabbed a lamp covered in broken glass. Suddenly stand up. Use it as a lead sauté. A strong light towards the head of the man holding the lamp. A carpet scream set echoing. Last name. I was horrified by my crazy actions. He unconsciously fired a gun. The sound of gunfire echoed through the closed room. The bullet flew through my skull, carrying a scorching wind. I rushed in based on the position of the fire from the barrel. The 2 of us struggled in the dark, like 2 wild animals. He tried to hit me in the head with a rifle, but I held his wrist tight. His other hand pulled out a dagger and stabbed me in the stomach. I turned around as hard as I could. The blade crashed into my left arm. The pain moved too. I let out a loud, angry sound that bit his neck. He's in pain. Hands are loose. I grabbed the gun in his hand, slammed his temple with the butt of a gun. The world is finally quiet again. There's only my heavy breathing left. The world is finally quiet again. There's only my heavy breathing left. I slowly stood up against the wall. The wound in the hand is bleeding like a stream. I walked next to a killer, 6 on him. And very quickly I found something. A black shirt. This is one of them. The purposes of this trip: destroy the evidence. Now it's become my booty. I tore a strip of fabric from my shirt, bandaged the wound on the arm. The blood keeps leaking out. Dyed the fabric long into crimson. I have to leave right away. The people of Liwanshan found it here. This place has been exposed. I compressed the intense pain and the euphoria of bloodlust. Look at this room for the last time. I carefully cut the manuscript into the chest of my shirt. This is the entrustment of Tran hero. More important than my life. Then I stumbled out of the old house, disappeared in the rubble covered by the night. I'm not going back to the city. I'm going in the opposite direction. Go deeper into the outside. I remember in Tran Hum's manuscript, he mentioned the last contact, the head of an oriental medicine shop who lives in hiding outside. His name was T. He's one of the retainers, the earliest of Tran Hum. He is also the most loyal. I'm walking around using a Kia brick phone. Send a message. Encryption of message content is very simple. There is only one love. Very quickly I got a reply. There's also a word waiting behind it, and a location attached. Located on a mountain 3 km away. I bite my teeth, carrying my injured body across the bumpy mountain road. Every breath affects you. Wounds in the ribs and arms. It hurts so much that I'm in a cold sweat. Breath is affected. Wounds in the ribs and arms. The pain made me break out in a cold sweat, but my footsteps don't stop. When it's about to light up, I finally saw it deep in the bamboo forest. There's a small courtyard that's lit up. The courtyard gate has a sign to the restaurant. I push the gate that's half closed. An old man in a duffel. White bearded hair sitting on a bench in the yard. Relax and drink tea. He saw me without being surprised. It seems to have been waiting for me for a long time. He put down his tea and stood up. He's not injured lightly. He's the tea man. He caddies. I went into the house. The smell of herbs. He told me to take off my shirt and check for wound. 2 broken ribs. The wound on the arm is very deep. Too much blood loss for young people. You're tired of living. He said, take out a specialized medical device. Let me start treating the wound. His movements are very skillful. Clean and stitch the wound. Apply the bandage seamlessly. The boss has told me. The tea man was busy and slowly opened his mouth. He knows he doesn't have much time. I also know the reason. Ain't the old fox Kia will not stand still, so he put the situation out there. He left all his possessions behind for the loser, Jitran Hao Kia, so that everyone would think that he's a traitor. In the evening he entrusted. The real core is that fun for you. He's using this to protect you. It is also to challenge you. I listened quietly. In the heart, there's hundreds of termites. Take that axe. Let's see. I took that black axe out of his pocket. Give it to him. Dad plugged it into a computer. It looks very old. Quick finger tapping on the keyboard. Very quickly, a bunch of encrypted files that he's decrypted. This is the book, Secrets of Some Foreign Companies. Onto the barricade of 10,000 Sun. But it's just the tip of the iceberg, not enough to die. He doesn't remember you. However, this also corroborates our speculation. Evidence of crime, the core of Lai Van Sun. It's hidden in his data center. He took out the Cybo, gave it back to me. All you have to do now is disappear. He took a bag of files from the closet. Pushed in front of me. It's a completely new identity here. There's also an operating budget. From now on, you are no longer a scientist. You just heal here. Waiting for the wind to pass. I'll arrange everything so that you have the opportunity to access the core of Lai Wanshan. He looked at me and his eyes became very solemn. The boss's chess game. It's just getting started. You're his most important piece. I stayed in the doctor's office for a week. In this 1 week, I've completely cut off contact with the outside world. He used his higher magic. My wounds heal at an amazing rate. At the same time, the outside world has been surging. The father through his bubble released some news. Tran Tram Hung's former bodyguard is Tran Research. There was a gunfight with someone outside. He was seriously injured. Location unknown. There's a rumor that they're going to get their hands on it. The secret heritage of Tran Tram Hung should be eliminated by mysterious forces. These half-true, half-fake news very quickly moved to the ears of the psychopathic. Chen was overjoyed to hear this news. According to him, the biggest obstacle has been cleared. He began to grow more and more disrespectful. Crazy joy. In his eyes, the biggest obstacle has been cleared. He began to grow more and more disrespectful. He was eager to bring his father, pull down from the position of president. Let yourself replace it. The mountain fell into deep doubt. The top assassins he sent out. I lost all contact overnight. The scene left only traces of an evil battle. But no bodies were found. Life or death became a thorn in his heart. One is a lie. A top guard holds a piece of his secret. It's like a time bomb. So Van Son's suspicious nature, he began to suspect. Are here subordinates working helplessly? Maybe even betrayed. And I wanted to take advantage of his skepticism. When the underlying wound has healed, I began to act according to father's plan. I use a disposable cell phone SIM. Send anonymous Cho Van Son a message. The message is a photo. In the picture is the asset, and the background is the swimming pool in Tran Hao's villa. The picture is a finished product, but it's done perfectly. This is like throwing it between Lai Wanshan and Tran Hao. That's a bomb. The Lord immediately confirmed that his servant had taken Asaber and joined Cho. Chen Hao wanted to use this to blackmail him, and Chen Hao became a traitor. Must be eliminated in his eyes. There's a dog bite show coming up. While they're suspicious of each other to protect each other, I used the new identity that father had prepared for me. Truong Van, a normal resume, a well-qualified network engineer. Through the father's relationships, I am easily applied for the internship. Li Van Son's delegation at a subsidiary company. The workplace is that place. I am happy to apply to Lai Van Son Group. At an affiliated company. Work location. It's a heavily guarded data center. I'm wearing a blue work suit, wearing a staff card in front of his chest. Every day we check the server. Dealing with some unimportant system issues. No one will notice me. A quiet person who seems a little suspicious. I'm like a drop of water into the sea. My target is hiding in the thousands. Tens of thousands of servers are flashing. It's a signal that creates a matrix in there. The steel proved enough to make Li's commercial empire completely collapse. Chen felt that the time was right. The thorn in the eye is that Chen Jie is gone. My illness is also getting worse. He can't wait any longer to summon as a majority shareholder. The emergency board meeting. The atmosphere in the meeting room was very stiff. All the board members are all here. Look at Tran Hao sitting in the chair. Each person's eyes were different. Shen Hao's voice cracked. Throw a folder on the table. Directors. This is my father's latest health certificate. Diagnostic doctor. He was no longer fit to continue to manage the work. The company. I suggest dismissal of the position of president of Tran Tram Hung. Immediately taken over by me. The health certificate he gave us is full of holes. Anyone who looks at it knows its fate. Some senators and company directors. All the faces were clearly unhappy. Chen Hao didn't know. Is still speaking eloquently there. It's all playful. He thought he was sure of winning. He doesn't know that while he's holding a board meeting. The people of Lai 10,000 Sun. At the same time, Li's men quietly surrounded this building. In the eyes of Li Wanshan, the board meeting today. That's when Chen Hao, after seizing his grain, eager to seize power, and then negotiate with him, he decided to act first. Tran Hao in his hands. In the data center. I'm sitting at my place of work. I finger tapped on the 9 table. On the surface is compiling a daily operating report. But in fact, in a hidden window on my computer screen, showing the surveillance image, real-time monitoring of board meetings, I looked coldly at the screen. The face of Tran Hao. The time has come. I get paid to mentor an anonymous email. Attach an encrypted file. Sent correctly to a personal mailbox. Each member of the board of directors present there, just as Chen Hao was spitting. Ask people to vote. Immediately ting 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 in the meeting room. Everyone's phones and tablets. A large number of email tones. They suspect or open the email when they see what's in the attachment. Everyone's face changes. In attachments. is the account details of Tran Hao's abuse of office, embezzlement of company funds over the years. The path of each money is clear. There are also videos and photos of him using this money to buy a luxury car and play 8 songs every night. Irrefutable proof of authenticity. Suddenly the entire room fell into a dead silence. Everyone looks at trash with their eyes. To look at Tran Hao's implacable maneuver. Look at what? Look at the vote. Chen Hao is still screaming. That's enough. A senior director. What to look at? Vote. Chen Hao is still screaming. That's enough. The most senior executive banged down on the table. Stand up, Tran Hao. This playboy. Where have you spent the company's money? We absolutely can't deliver the company for people like you. Chen Hao's face suddenly turned white. By now he realized it was too late. As soon as he panicked, he wanted to explain. The meeting room door was knocked down. A bunch of big men in black came in. The leader is the number 1 hand of Lai 10,000 Sun, Master Chen. Our boss has an invitation. Despite the scream of Chen Hao, they dragged him away like a dead dog. Take him out of the conference room. A meticulously planned play has come to an end, in the most efficient way. I shut down the surveillance window, wiped out any traces of the operation. The day of the useless has come, then it's the real prey. The following days, I almost think of data centers as daytime homes. I'm John Wei, a technician. No one notices the evening when everyone's off work. This has become my battlefield. Security system. Data center of Lai Vansan. It is considered a copper wall, defensive iron wall. The physical and cybersecurity have reached extremes. It's almost impossible to attack from the outside. But right now I'm in his heart. I took advantage of my position, understand the internal network structure, and the rules of the firewall. The rest is a fight. The difference between time and patience. I'm like a most calm hunter hiding. I'm in the data forest, looking for that most important hunter. Series of code is hidden in the data forest, looking for that most important prey. Every line of code flashed in front of me. I cracked one encryption layer after another. Bypass access restrictions, one to another access restriction. Finally, on Tuesday night, no sleep, no rest for him. When the whole city goes to sleep, I found a hidden file in server at the bottom of the system disguised as encrypted compression file of the system log file. That's it, and believe me, it beats uncontrollably fast. It took me an hour to solve the password layers of this compressed file. When the files inside, one after another, appeared before my eyes, I know the painting is done. Here's his last 25 minutes, a complete record of all commercial crimes, bribery, money laundering, stock price manipulation, malevolent buying. There's even some clues, point ambiguity, about his connection to the old fire. This is a complete indictment, something that's enough to make his trade regime collapse in the blink of an eye, a key piece of evidence. I'm not excited at all. The more important the moment, the calmer it is. As Sao copied the entire red data completely, create 2 copies of Sao, and then I wiped out all traces of my manipulation. Make sure no one can find me. In the morning, it's like always. Step out of the data center, the sun is shining on my face with a little warmth. I'm sending a proof through a secure network. Gifty to the man I contacted earlier, a top investigative reporter in the country. The rest is through a special channel. Send directly to the highest level of the relevant departments. To finish all this, I threw out the card. Just got on a train to stop the storm. I threw out my card and boarded a train to the bank. The storm was coming the next day. The news is everywhere. The commercial system of Li Wanshan collapsed immediately. Corporate stock prices plummet without breaking. Like senior management under emergency control. Live stream image on T station. Li Wanshan is in his office. By people in uniform. On his face that once looked at the sky with a swing. Only white and desperate. Malignant tumor selling roots in the city's business world. The last 15 rows have been completely removed. On the train I watch the news on my phone, then calmly turn off the screen. Tran Tram Hun, I do not accept your commission. The wind has passed. Everything has fallen. Tran Hao for embezzlement of public funds and suspected fraud. The trade is. The board kicked her out the door. Harry on the back. A pile of debt. Li Wanshan's empire completely collapsed. Waiting for him is punishment. The strictness of the law. A week later I returned to the city. I went to the place where I had an appointment with Chen Chen. It's a Taya house hidden deep in a quaint little alley. It was so quiet, I pushed the door. To see him, he sat in a position near the window, quietly drinking tea alone. He looks a lot older than he did last time. More gray hair. There are also some deep wrinkles on the face, but his eyes were so gentle. With a satisfied smile I walked forward. We sat down across from you, and no one said anything. He poured me a cup of tea. The sweet tea between us doesn't need. No one said anything. He poured me a cup of tea. Fragrant tea. There's no need for any extra words between us. He knows I did it. I also know what he means. He slowly opened his mouth a long time ago. My voice was a little hoarse, and I shook my head. He didn't mention it, not to mention the mental processes. That movement only. Take 2 items from under the table. Pushed in front of me. One is an old sandalwood box. Inside there is a seal. On another seal the 5 words National Town Protection Fund. The other is a document. Not a check. It's not a share transfer. It's an appointment sheet. It says my name's Chen. He is the chairman of the National Defense Fund. You are the guardian of this place. The hero looked at me. Eyes solemn and urgent. I look at my name on the appointment. Look at the $1 million seal. I suddenly understood this is my real pension. It's more valuable than all the money in the world. It's a heavy responsibility. A belief is continued. It's also the beginning of a whole new life. My retirement life is over. I reached out my hand and took the seal. My hands are strong. It doesn't shake at all. We lie. It's no longer just a friend living in the dark. I'm going to be a guardian and heir to the faith, the beginning of a legend.